So shout out to Wincy for posting this and Zim Hude for posting this, because this is what I was talking about the other day when everyone is saying, oh, it's Joe Burrow's fault that now that we paid our top receivers, if we don't have a defense, it's Joe Burrow's fault. When, again, it isn't Joe Burrow's fault. Number one, I think the Bengals wanted to trade away T, but the Jamar Chase's agent, who is also now T. Higgins' agent, said it's either both get signed or nobody gets signed. So they had to sign T and Jamar no matter what, which I'm very happy they did, don't get me wrong. But like, it wasn't really a choice there. But even then, we still have to draft. And we in the front office is still responsible if they do not draft well. And this is a good example of that same situation of it's not Joe's fault that we paid all that money to the wide receivers. Okay, at the end of the day, the front office could have paid them so much less if they would have signed them a year ago, but instead they twiddled their toes, waited a year, and now look at the situation we're in. We paid a lot of money to receivers, but look at the Eagles. Eagles cap hits $133.6 million for offense. That is a total of $18.5 million more than what the Bengals are paying for. Defense, $76.3 million. We're paying $79 million for defense. It's not Joe Burrow's fault that we spent all this money on receivers and we don't have a defense. It's the front office fault. It's the Duke Tobin's fault. It's the Zach Taylor's fault for not developing players and hitting correctly on draft picks. As I've said a million times, and I'll say this a million bazillion times more on this channel, at the end of the day, you cannot build a team through free agency. You have to build your team through the draft. You have to be able to get young guys on rookie contracts who help you win games. And as long as you can do that, you will be a very successful team. You will go very far, but that's how you have to build. Free agency is way too damn expensive to try to build anything in free agency. You have to build through the draft. And that's something the Bengals front office has done absolutely a freaking awful job at doing. So yes, we did pay again a lot of money for receivers, but that's not Joe's fault we don't have a defense. That's the front office's fault, and their inability to be able to develop players and create superstars is a fault of their own and not Joe Burrow's. So I just find it so stupid, because this is again the age-old situation here, where it's like, whoa, we spent all this money on receivers and Joe Burrow, we're not going to be able to spend on defense. The Eagles just won the Super Bowl in their defense, and they're spending less money than us. Like, I don't, this mindset. There's this mindset that we have spent $0 on defense. I've seen this all over Twitter, and it just blows my mind. You spent all this money on offense. You spent no money on defense. No, we've spent money on defense. But the sad part is our front office doesn't develop anybody. So you can spend all the money you want, but if you don't develop anyone, it doesn't matter. We have 6 draft picks this year. 6. We need those 6 draft picks. Probably at least 5 of the 6 will be defense. We need those picks to hit. We need those picks to be successful. We need those picks to become starters. Okay? And again, Myles Murphy, first round pick a little while ago. Look at him. Now we have a new defensive line coach. Hopefully that will help out Myles Murphy a lot. But so far, Myles Murphy has not looked like he did at Clemson. Not even close. So, again, these are all situations where it's like, I don't know. I feel like the easy narrative is always just blame Joe, blame the fact we paid all this money for receivers. And doing that doesn't fix the problem. That's really the majority of the whole issue here. Is we're trying to find scapegoats for the problem, and the problem is right in front of our face, and that's the front office. But again, we'll have to wait and see. Hopefully, this draft ends up becoming a superstar draft. I think it's going to go good. I think it will go very well, especially now with the correct positional coaches, which we really neglected over the last set amount of time. But We now got correct positional coaches, a really great defensive coordinator. I think things will get a little bit better. But again, it does start with getting everything good in the draft. Figuring out the draft is the biggest thing. And again, just a little side note here. This is why the Eagles, they have 20 draft picks over the next 2 years. We have 13. Like, let that mentally go in your head right now. They have 2 Super Bowl rings in 10 years. And it's because they have 20 draft picks over the next 2 years. We have 13. They have 7 more draft picks than us. Because what they do is they bank off the compensatory picks. They pick up guys, help them, be successful that year, do really good that year, let them go, get compensatory picks, draft well, have guys that are behind the starters who could be starters, and once the starters leave, they become starters, and they're really freaking good because they've been developed. So let's just put this narrative to bed completely. And I know analysts are going to keep saying it, but as football fans, let's just put this narrative to bed. It's not Joe Burrow's fault. We still have the money. We could still be successful. It's a front office issue. Let's put the narrative to bed. Peace out.